Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Love Ambassador Morning. I am John Halcyon Stinn. This is our daily practice of gratitude and connection, setting our sights on the person that we want to be today. For me, I try to remember that I want to be patient and kind. I want to be a good listener. I want to be compassionate. I want to try to connect. Like this morning, as we went on our walk, I said hello and good morning and waved to every car that went by and every person that was walking their dog. Lisa was like, I love that you say good morning to the cars that drive by. And I was like, well, I think they can see my mouth, like I think it matters. And as always, I start with singing because it helps me get into the mood. Do. You might hear me singing and say, I thought that this was supposed to be a cool do. And if I might say something cool, it's because I learned it not in school. We share the gratitude because it makes us not feel like fools. Good morning. What are you grateful for today? Say hello. Let us know who is here so we can feel connected to our fellow Love Ambassadors. Good morning, Juan. Good to see you today. Happy Wednesday. I am grateful for how supported I felt yesterday. Yesterday, right before going live, got the news that my friend Janus had been changed to the status of like pain medicine only. They stopped giving him IV drips of anything, and they're just pain medicine only. And right as I started the broadcast in a little bit of a state, I was crying as I hit record, I hit play. So, and it really felt so comforting to know that I could let whatever happens here and know that it's a safe space and a warm space and a comforting space, and because I really feel that there's like letting the feelings come through is the way to not be overwhelmed by them. And I keep having these experiences where I'll be thinking about stuff and then I'll say like one word or one aspect to his situation or some memory, and I'll go from like intellectually being sad to like just like crying. And I'm like, I don't feel don't feel any worse than I did a minute ago when I was fine, but now I'm just like crying. But I think it's super healthy. I think it's so it's a shame that so many people feel discouraged or shameful about crying. So I'm so grateful for the feeling of safety and the supportive community and partnership where tears are celebrated as part of being human. Juan says, good morning. Good morning to cars driving by is one of my favorite things to do. I know that about you. I love that about you. Jennifer says, good morning. Good morning, Jennifer. I'm grateful that as Betsy put up the update yesterday about our friend, that was kind of letting people know it was worse than people thought. And that, there's not going to be a chance to visit him. You're not going to see him again, basically. And so I'm really grateful for all the friends that are posting pictures and thoughts and memories and just kind of praying and holding hope for a miracle, and also just kind of bringing in thoughts of healthy, beautiful Giannis. And even though it can be a painful process to summon this image and revisit these images of good times when the current times are not so good. I think it really helps to amplify the gratitude and to, I've been enjoying seeing these pictures of strong, smiling, handsome friend. Super grateful for Lynn and Shauna, the two friends of his that have been taking on the lion's share of responsibilities, medical and otherwise. So grateful. And I've been so grateful, especially yesterday. I'm so grateful that we have hours and hours of Stay Sparked footage of Betsy, Giannis, and I talking about deep topics. And I was looking at clips yesterday, and I'm starting even to pull clips and put together I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday. He has a 1-year-old son, and so it's like this silver lining that we have all this footage of his father being as a strong, healthy, wise man. That I'm going to make a little compilation of it, and I've already been looking through stuff and just being just so grateful. That was never in my wildest goals for recording, and it was never like, oh, what if this is our legacy, but not everybody records themselves as much as I do, and so I don't think there are much recordings, but now there are hours and hours of him being at his best. Maybe not his best, but the kind of things you'd like to hear from a father if you never got to know him in person. So I've got a lot of gratitude for just the unintended consequence, the silver lining of all that footage. Angela says, I relate to what you're saying. Last night I saw someone on TV that reminded me of a close friend and campmate that passed last year. I mentioned it out loud and we sat for a moment in sadness, but then were able to giggle about some funny memories of our friend. I'm grateful for happy memories that we can turn to in those moments. Yeah. That's been something I've been really practicing. I went to a retreat last weekend and then a few weekends before, and both times, my most recent experiences with my dear friend was in the hospital, and he was really, lost a ton of weight. He was slightly jaundiced, and a sick version of my friend, and a dying version of my friend. And it was so helpful for me to, in meditation, draw into my experience, to my present moment, to bring in these memories of him smiling and laughing and dancing, and just this presence that was not a part of the last few visits I've had. And I love that idea that we always have that. I do that with Grandpa Caleb. He's been not in the physical realm of this dimension since 2007. He's right here on the wall, and I have lots of videos of him. And so I frequently picture him laughing. Or there's this one video that he's in his, I'm like working on his computer, and he's just like looking off, and he goes, "Life's a blast for this old man." I just picture him like in this like half giggle as he says that. And I rarely think about those final moments, and I can bring those moments of inspiration into my consciousness anytime. And when you've got video, it's even easier because you don't have to just use your memory. You can refresh your memory and have the vibrations kind of it's like getting a tattoo freshened up as you watch a video. Like, yes, right, that's what they laugh like. Yes, that's the kind of phrase they would turn. Good morning, Shannon. I love you. Shannon says, I am so beyond grateful for all the footage our son will get to see and know his father through. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I'm finding it helpful to hold on to these little silver linings, like the reason why I'm grateful for the footage is because of how tragic and but I find that a practice of trying to hold the suffering and the gratitude at the same time, I feel like that is a healthy practice. Some people, I think it's important not to deny the suffering or ignore or pretend, but I don't think I don't think it invalidates the experience of the pain to wrap it in a ribbon of silver linings, to be aware of gratitude. John, good morning, John. John says, I'm grateful for my morning practice with Tara. Me too. I'm grateful that we've got to share some morning practices the last few days. I was talking with Lisa about how wonderful it was to see you guys. Do you mind sharing more of what your morning practice entails? I'm grateful for a moment yesterday afternoon. My beloved Lisa is not feeling well. She's been under the weather for a few days. And so we sat in the living room, and it was a cloudy, overcast day, and I put a fire on in the fireplace. We've got a wood-burning fireplace, no gas. And I'm really just grateful for that moment of being in the living room, talking about deep things, with the fire and the canyon, and it's a beautiful moment. Tara says, good morning. Hello, Tara. I am grateful for rainy days and a delicious breakfast that John made for me. Yeah. John and Tara's morning practice includes meditation, yoga, the gym, and then breakfast, then the to-dos. You guys are crushing it. That is inspiring. Amazing. I usually wake, a short stretch, and then a walk, and then this broadcast this morning, and usually walking with Lisa. So we went for a short walk around the neighborhood, and then here. Lately I've been trying to let myself sleep as much as I can because my sleep has been not coming. Oh, Tara says, we also do a lesson in A Course in Miracles. Ooh, that reminds me. I was going to share with you some Jacob Glass lectures. He's got stuff on YouTube, but I love his old lectures. He had a dramatic shift in my spirituality through, I went to go see a weekly lecture on A Course in Miracles for 10 years from Jacob Glass, because he's funny and lighthearted, and he used his life as a teaching, which is kind of, I love that, a self-deprecating teacher like Ram Dass or Jacob Glass, where they kind of share their stumbles as they human, and it helps you to see yourself on the path as well. My life, my Course in Miracles is one of the biggest influences in my spirituality, and I never read it. I only listened to it or learned it through Jacob's teachings. He also introduced me to Byron Katie and Eckhart Tolle and tons of spiritual teachings. Jennifer says, today I'm grateful for a day off to rest and relax. Yes. The most productive day of the week, when you get to relax and do as little as possible. It's got to change your definition of productivity. Tara says, our dog Lucy won't let us sleep in. I just saw a picture of that Amy posted, of Amy and Asher. Their dog has a muzzle. That has to wear the muzzle all the time because I guess he ate her keys, her phone, her headset, like has just eats things. And now that so I was thinking this morning as I looked at this picture of a muzzled dog, how grateful I am that I am not a dog person, and I get to live quite easefully without dogs that wake me up or eat my stuff. Last chance for gratitude. Anybody want to share anything before we head off onto our days? Maybe taking a moment now to just think about, as you head into this day, who do you want to be? How, if an opportunity comes up, if a phone call comes in, if a request comes in, if you stumble and have somebody cuts you off in traffic or cuts in line, like, can you tell yourself in advance, if I have the opportunity to show patience and grace, kindness today, if someone in front of me doesn't have enough money for their second item and they're going to put it back, if you tell yourself in advance, I'm going to pay for that item, then when it happens, you can act. Way too many times after the moment happens, I go, oh, I should have just paid for it. But you got to act quickly. I actually had a chance to do that like 3 days ago. There was a guy who, he was at a self-checkout, and he had cash. And so there's a line behind him, and the person came over and says, no, this thing doesn't take cash. And I'm like, and I was doing my groceries. I'm like, I'll get it. He just, had like a candy bar or something like that. And it's like, yes, I'm so glad that I have Love Morning to get me in the headspace so that when the opportunity comes, it's just like, there we go. Got to be a Love Ambassador. Yes. Well, thank you for joining me for this. Thank you for being one of the fellow Love Ambassadors that gets to role model kindness and give others permission to do the same. So wherever you are, give yourself a big old squeeze. Feel me hugging you. Feel you hugging me. Feel all the people in this space right now, and everybody that might watch this archive, and anybody that's ever been through this space and joined its intention of being a Love Ambassador, of showing courage and vulnerability and letting their heart show in this world that sometimes doesn't respect and doesn't celebrate that, sometimes tries to dim our lights. Giving a gratitude, appreciation for one another as we take a deep breath in and squeeze. Thank you. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of you Love Ambassadors, thank you for being a part of this Love Morning. Have an incredible day. I love you.